You had probably one of the most explosive like entries into the Halo 5 scene when you're competing in Halo 5. And this was shortly after you started competing in Halo 5. There was a bit of a drama going on at the time. So EG, Lethal had just left EG and he had went to join CLG, which was like their main rival at the point. And there was a whole controversy surrounding this. EG needed an extra player for X Games, and they grabbed you last second, and you popped off. You guys won the X Games gold medal, and this was like your introduction. I'd say like this was my introduction to seeing you as a competitive
Yeah.
player. So just tell me, like, what was that experience like, and what was it like winning that X Games gold medal? How did it happen too? How did you get into EG?
All right. So I was on Renegades at the time, leftovers, and after a night of scrims, I just randomly get a Skype message from Snipedown, and he just said we need one. He said EG needs one, and we're really interested in you. And I just like stared at the message for 5 minutes, like not knowing, just not knowing like what was going on. I was just so like confused, like excited, and you know, it, I told my teammates that I got this offer, and of course, they tried to convince me to stay. And initially, I told EG that I appreciate their offer, but I'm gonna stick. But then, they were pretty adamant on trying to get me. So
Wow.
like 30 minutes later, I ended up being convinced, and I told my team like, listen, this this seems like an opportunity I just can't pass up. And I asked some people, just some friends, on what they thought I should do, and a lot of them were just like, it's kind of a no-brainer. You should take that EG offer. And from there we had like a week until X Games, so it was a lot of practice, grinding, and those players are players I've looked up to, pretty much ever since I got into Halo. And it was a little uncomfortable almost just playing
Mhm.
with them because, you know, it's like meeting your idols and then, like, having to practice with them. It's hard to explain, but
Nerve-wracking. How do you play at your
it's
best? I feel
nerve-wracking.
like it'd be tough to play at your best to, like you'd be afraid to, like, communicate too much because you wouldn't wanna say something wrong, like, you'd wanna let them dominate, the conversations and things that you're kinda
Right.
just following, like, it's like, "I'm this new player, I'm gonna try to absorb information," or something, right?
Exactly, exactly, and I think that's, somewhere where I guess I did wrong in terms of how I communicated, because instead of because I feel like I had a really good understanding of Halo 5 at the time where I could have taught them a lot of things. And of course,
Damn.
they taught me a lot of things, like, in terms of, like, Halo basics, I guess, like staying alive, like, that's pretty much, like, the most important thing, I think, is just knowing when to
Communication,
stay alive.
dude.
Exactly. I was definitely a lot more quieter. I didn't express my opinions as good as I should have, but
Mhm.
for X Games, it didn't really matter because we ended up winning. And that experience, I'll never forget it because, like, we went to game 7, and when the victory screen popped up, it felt like someone punched me in the stomach. Like, my breath was just I had no breath. Like, it was just so much to take in, and that's a feeling that I would definitely like to experience again, and I've been trying to get to that ever since.